After logging into Onshape, click on Create Document. Then you're going to go to the Sketch tool and select the sketch plane. I'm going to choose the front plane. I'm going to hide the top and the right by clicking on the eyes to clean up my graphics window, and then I'm going to realign my graphics window so that this is centered and face on. The first thing I'm going to do is activate the construction tool, which allows me to draw shapes, lines that aren't really, they're not part of the sketch, they're just to help you align geometry. So when you start using the line tool, it'll just always want to be a line. So to get out of that, you can just press escape or right click and press escape line here. I typically just press escape on my keyboard. Now I'm going to activate the line tool again, and I'm gonna draw, you'll see, I'm gonna go through the whole process and then you'll kind of see how it goes. So I'm just drawing an outer profile, and you'll notice that there's, if you see that horizontal line, it's like inference geometry that just pops up and it gives you an idea of, it's kind of like snapping to a grid. So I want that to be horizontal. Here's another example. So you can see that orange dashed vertical line. It shows me that this, if I make the point right here, it lines up with that other point. And I already see some things that I want to change, but I'll just leave it for now. All right, just press escape on my keyboard. Now I'm gonna go up to, so I think automatically it's either center point or 3-point arc, but I'm gonna click the drop down and I'm gonna go to conic. From there, I'm gonna click my first point here so it's coincident with this, my last point that I drew. And so I clicked up at the upper left, and now I'm adjusting the radius. Alright, I think that looks good. Press enter. Now I'm going to use the construction tool again just to get some measurements. Oops, and I need to go to, actually press construction again, then I'll press the line tool. And I just pressed escape. Now I'm going to use the line tool again, and I'm going to create a horizontal line, and I want it to be the same as the other. I'm not going to spend an hour trying to get it exactly to 0.1. I'm just going to click wherever and I'll show you. As long as it's horizontal, I'm good. I'm just going to type 0.1, and I just go straight to my keyboard. I don't try to click somewhere in the text box. I just start typing. And now I'm going to press escape. And the next thing I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna go back to conic. Gonna start my first click here. Gonna zoom out a little bit. match up with that point, and then adjust my angle, the radius of my curve. And that looks good to me. Gonna press escape so I can just kind of move things around. All right, next I'm gonna go up to the scissors tool and I'm gonna cut that previous construction line. Almost lastly, gonna connect there to there. And I don't want that sharp, it's not a very sharp edge, but I want it to be smooth, and so I'm gonna go up to, I think I need to make my, I don't want to cover it in the, I think I'm covering it. Alright, hopefully I didn't make that too small, but okay, so if you want to use some of the constraint tools, you can just hover over them and see what they do. Not only do you see what they do, but you see how to perform the actions. So in this case, it says to select the sketch entities, then select the tangent constraint tool. Click, click, and that's not what I wanted at all. So that's okay. I'm going to Control Z, and I forget which one I clicked first. So I did the left side first, so I'm going to try the other side. And it's still totally not working. Okay, so that's fine. I will figure out how to deal with this later. So then the last thing I'm going to do is just connect this line down to here, and I'm going to try that tangent one more time. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'll just have to deal with it. Alright, so once you have a completed loop, like you have an entire face enclosed, and you really got to be careful because those like orange boxes that pop up indicate when you're on top of another point and you've like locked to another point. But if you miss one, then it's going to take ages to look at all of your points really closely. They has to be a closed path. I know it's closed because when I click this, it selects the entire thing as a whole. So I'm going to go to my Revolve feature, and it also tells you what to do. So step 1, select one or more sketch regions, faces, or edges, and specify whether to create new parts or surface, and to add, remove, or intersect. Okay. The next important thing is to select a sketch line or edge as the axis. So you'll see in the pop-up window it says face of sketch 1, so it already knows which sketch region I want to do the revolve. And then the revolve axis, I clicked that, and now I'm going to click this revolve axis. And that's what happens. So I'm going to, let's see, I want to go see if I can go back real quick, but I don't want to get rid of this sketch. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'll do that one more time. So I'm going to I clicked revolve first this time. Let's see what happens. So rather than it already knowing what sketch region I want to revolve, I see right here I need to select that, so I click there. Now I need to select the revolve axis. I click here. Same thing. So I will accept that by checking the green check mark, and now I have what could potentially be like the start of a orbiter with a large dish, parabolic. I guess it could be whatever we want because we're the designers. So it's going to be some sort of radio receiver. And let's see, so now we are going to add some solar cells. I'm going to reposition this. You can press Shift 1 and it sets it back to front. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch on my front plane. And I'm going to use, so there's different types of rectangles. There's reasons to use each one. I oftentimes use the center point rectangle so that I know where the center point is. And so you can see how it like pops up. I'll go with here. That looks fine to me. And I'll make it 2.5 enter by 0.07, sure. There we go. So now if you zoom out and look at this from the side, the sketch that I just did is on the front plane, which slices in between that cylinder. So I'm gonna Shift 1, get back centered, and now I'm gonna go up to extrude. And if it like grays out, then that means it's selected. It already selected it for us. And I want to add new material rather than cutting away. And let's see. I'm going to change this from blind. So in the drop down, one more time, that little drop down menu, I'm going to click symmetric. And you have a couple of options here. You can click and drag, or you can type in a specified amount. I think is typically I would do specified amount, but since this is my design, I could make it up myself. And so it's more fun to drag. And you can just kind of get an idea for proportions. You can view this isometric view. And yeah, I think that looks fine. So I'll accept that. And there's the start of a satellite or orbiter.